I'm Joe Giglio for NJ Sports Now on this Friday, May the 29th, as we get set for football to start being part of the conversation again. This week, OTAs have started around the NFL for the Philadelphia Eagles. The media able to be present for Thursday's practices. Over 100 media members in Philadelphia showed up to talk to the players, watch the practice, and of course, hear from Eagles head coach and really everything for the organization, personnel czar Chip Kelly. Held court for about 12 minutes, answered a bunch of questions about football-related things, Sam Bradford's health, the new players coming in, Mark Sanchez, Tim Tebow, competition, all the kind of football things that Eagles fans were itching to hear. But of course, at some point during the press conference there, the questions came back to a story that was a major one a couple weeks ago. LeSean McCoy, ex-Eagles running back, traded away in the offseason to the Buffalo Bills, came out ESPN, the magazine, and talked about Chip Kelly and used the word racism in the way that he goes about building his football team and referenced jettisoning Deshaun Jackson last offseason and himself, LeSean McCoy, this offseason. It's the first time Chip Kelly had the opportunity to be asked in a public forum about all of this. And it was even added to in that same time period with Trey Thomas, the former assistant coach and former Eagles player, who also doubled down on all this on television in Philadelphia and said there's a hint of that going around. So Kelly, for the first time publicly, was able to respond, and I thought he handled it perfectly. Look, I don't think anyone, unless you have definitely been in that situation, and I think it's a situation none of us would ever want to be in, no one knows how to handle that. If you're called out or someone accuses you of being a racist, I mean, there's many different ways you could handle it. If it's blatantly false and blatantly untrue, you could scream and yell and get angry and be like, no way, that's not true. Or you could handle it with just brushing it off your shoulder and saying, I disagree with that. It's ridiculous to me. Let's move on from the subject. And that, to me, is the right way for Chip Kelly to go about it as the leader of a team, the leader of an organization, especially the leader of a football team that's probably 65 to 70% African American. Now, Chip Kelly's responses, as usual, quick quips, sarcastic, but this time there was a serious tone to what Chip Kelly had to say there. It was asked about, what McCoy said, and he said he tried to reach out LeSean McCoy. He didn't hear a response. He respects LeSean, but he doesn't agree with them on this. And then the questions went back to the fact that Riley Cooper, after a couple years ago, uttering a racial epithet, is still on the football team. Some African-American players have been cut since then, and Cooper's name always comes back to all of this. And this is how Chip Kelly responded to the next couple questions. I thought this is where Kelly did his best work. That doesn't hurt me. I'm not governed by the fear of what other people say. Events don't elicit feelings. I think beliefs elicit feelings. I understand what my beliefs are, and I know how I am. And then the question tried to go to the perception. And oftentimes, we all know this, perception is reality in business, in sports, in life. And Kelly cut the question off after the word perception. And this is where Chip Kelly, to me, hit a home run, and I think ended this topic for the time being. You start chasing perception, and you got a long life ahead of you, son. That's what it's all about. If you're worried about someone else's perception of what's going on with you, then you can control one thing. You can control yourself. I know how we run this organization, and it's not run that way. Chip Kelly, with that comment, with that response, put an end for now to the question marks about racism, about him, and about his football team. Now, there may still be some people out there who believe there's something weird going on, or maybe McCoy or Jackson or Trey Thomas has something here that the rest of us aren't seeing if you're not in that locker room behind closed doors. But as far as handling this, and if it is blatantly false, which I know a lot of people believe it is blatantly false, the way to handle it is the way Chip Kelly did. Say it's not true, say you try to reach out to the player to have a man-to-man conversation, and then say, all I care about is what's inside of me, and all I care about is what the people inside that locker room think right now. This could be a major distraction. It could continue to be if more players come out and it becomes a bigger thing. But for Chip Kelly, the best way to handle it is to get out in front of it the way he did yesterday and say, no way, and I don't really care what you think because I know who I am. I'm Joe Giglio for NJ Sports.